Politicians are corrupt. Now, I know you're going to say, well, nah, everybody knows politicians are corrupt. Everybody knows politics is bad. But what I'm really talking about is that politicians don't actually work for the average people. Now, when you vote for anyone, it doesn't matter if you vote for this group, or wherever you vote for. I'm not like a political person, but when you vote for people, people think that that means that they're going to work for you or they're going to help you. But that's not really how it works. You see, there's NGOs and there's big stock markets and investors. And what happens is that those politicians work for the investors, which work for federal banks. Now, what actually happens is they have people called lobbyists. Now, those lobbyists are people that actually lobby the government in order to pass certain rules which will favor them, favor their corporations and their businesses, which doesn't actually help the average person. Now, I'm an average guy on the internet, but I'm just basically just saying that when you vote for anyone in the world, understand that everybody is corrupt. And when people say that this side is wrong and this side is right, or this side is right and this side is wrong, it doesn't actually matter who you vote for. Your voting power doesn't actually, it's like flipping a coin and there's two sides of the same coin when you flip the coin. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I think that this generation is actually figuring this out. Like, I'm 23 years old and I'm thinking about our generation. Like, this generation is the first generation to really figure this out, that, when it comes to governments and it comes to politicians and things, they really are not on your side. What it is they work for businesses and they work for companies like Facebook, Amazon, the big companies, Apple, Microsoft. These big corporations and companies are the ones who actually pull the strings on what gets voted or what gets pushed onto YouTube, what gets pushed onto Google, what gets pushed onto certain platforms. Now, what happens is that's how platforms can actually monetize and make money, by getting people to vote for certain sides and pass certain rules. When, to be fair, the government actually knows that climate is really getting worse. There's a lot of climate change happening in the world. A lot of countries are having more droughts. There's more food shortages. There's overpopulation, and they know these things. And this is what I'm saying, that instead of actually, fixing the real issues in the world of, the wars going on and these really bad things going on in the world, people always want to blame groups or say it's these people's fault that this is happening, or it's these people's fault that this is happening, and blaming each other, but not looking at the actual bigger picture that, substance control is out of control. People are drinking more alcohol than ever. There's a lot more violence in the world. There's a lot more shootings going on, especially in London. A lot more, like, people dying, and it's really sad. And I just think people don't really talk about that too much. But there's a lot of problems going on in the world at the moment, but politicians don't actually want to address those issues. They rather talk about things that have nothing to do with anyone, like, oh, it's because of these people or because of these people. But at the end of the day, all politicians know that they have total control of the world. And especially when it comes to people in power don't want you to get rich. If you really think about it, if you got rich, you're not going to flip the burgers anymore. You're not going to be cleaning the floors anymore. You're not going to be working in the malls, working in the restaurants as a waiter. Like, they need people to stay poor so that you can help them. It's kind of like a modern slavery thing, which people don't really speak about too much. But when you really think about it, if all your money is going to be spent on bills and your finances and your rent and your car loans and your taxes, you're not actually earning any money for yourself. Like, your money you get for yourself, yes, you might be able to have a little bit of money to buy a video game, a little bit of money to buy your girlfriend a gift or something, but that's not really actually truly living like as a free person. And that's how it really works, is when you really look at the world and the decline of the world and things, especially even when unions go on strike. Like, a lot of people say, oh, but if you go on strike then it will help. But by going on strike, they can always order new people. It's the same when writers for Hollywood went on strike. There was a big thing of like writers in Hollywood going on strike. A lot of movies are actually written by AI now. Like, a lot of AI tools are used to write movies. That's why the jokes aren't as funny, or the dialogue can seem a bit dry. Like, it doesn't seem like it has a personality or a bit of a depth when you watch a movie. But that's what I'm saying, that when people talk about these things, they don't actually understand how the world is set up in a way where it is corrupt, and it's corrupt on different levels. There's different levels of corruption depending on your country, depending on your state, depending where you live in the world. But how it really works is that there's a global, like, elite group of people, and those people actually control a lot of the main assets. So the main assets being, Vanguard, BlackRock, the big companies, the big actual ETFs. Now, ETFs are basically the collective groups of stocks and shares. Now, people don't actually understand what that is. What it is stocks and shares are like different assets within businesses and companies. Now, those assets and businesses and companies actually control how much money is being printed in different countries. Now, the amount of money that's being printed in different countries, that's why different countries have different currency exchange rates. So, like, for example, If you have $1, it would be I think it's 150 pound, and it could be 160 euro, depending on the currency, depending on inflation, depending on how much currency is in different countries. So when I'm really talking about politicians, I'm really saying that, you really got to understand that it does not matter who you vote for, and you shouldn't be mad at your neighbor or mad at the person down the road because they vote for someone different to you. Because at the end of the day, we all understand that the concept of government and the concept of these things are for control. That's where there's more cameras, that's where there's more CCTV, that's where there's more control over what you can say on the internet, all these kinds of things, government deleting posts, deleting what people say, free speech, all these kinds of issues in the world are because of its level of control, and different countries have different levels of control and different levels of playing field. So when you actually vote for anybody, I think that everyone knows in this generation, people are waking up to the fact that they're not actually helping the people anymore. Yes, like in past generations, they were helping the people, giving the people free food, giving the people, helping people with water, helping the community. There was a lot more, youth centers and people helping each other. But now everyone knows that a lot of the politicians are now just getting voted in by other politicians. Like when you vote for a party, you're not actually voting for those specific people. They're actually selected themselves within their own group. So you're not even getting the free choice of who you actually have as your president, or who you actually have as your mayor, or who you have as your prime minister of the country. It's actually them themselves dictating who says what and who decides who. And it's not going in a good direction. And yeah, there's not really like too much solution on it. It's just about having awareness to understand that you shouldn't be mad at other people, because you really got to look at the outer picture of, even when they come to controlling religion or controlling what you think or controlling what group you're part of, is this group against this group. And these ways of thinking are not actually helping anybody. But my name's Krish. I hope you enjoyed this one. Sorry, I'm not a political person. I'm really not a political person, but it's just something that was on my mind, that politics is not really in a good way at the moment, and the whole world is changing. But I think our generation is the first one to actually be aware of this. Do you understand?